Mr. Lawson's final last day of school. And after spending 40 years in education and serving as the principal of Indio High School for nearly a decade, he says the emotions he feels are unreal.
I came in early this morning, an extra hour and a half early before anybody got here, because I just wanted to walk the campus alone and do some reflecting, because it's joyful, but it's heartrending at the same time.
Derek Lawson is the first alumnus from Indio High School to come back and serve as principal. Students say Lawson has been a role model to the entire student body and show what it means to be a Raja.
I would probably take from what he's kind of shown and taught was just kind of having pride for yourself.
Just to always be positive and just to learn from others. Mr. Lawson would always just learn from others, and he would take constructive criticism from everybody else and just always staying positive through everything.
Faculty member and former alumni Megan Nolasco says Mr. Lawson viewed Indio High School as his home, and he just wanted to share it.
He was very connected here, and then ever since high school, it was his home, and he wanted to share his home with everybody else.
For Derek Lawson, the last few weeks have been a walk down memory lane, between students making signs and projects that thank him. He also left his yearbook outside his office to have students sign the pages. He just hopes that he has left a positive mark on the students and staff.
Down the road, when people say, well, what was it like when you were in high school? I hope they will always look back and say, I remember my principal, and he believed in me, and he helped me realize my potential and helped me see the promise I had of success in the future and helped me to unleash that.
Now, Mark and Olivia, it was actually a full circle moment for me. Derek Lawson was actually my middle school principal at Colonel Mitchell Page about 10 years ago. It was exciting to see him celebrate his retirement here from Indio High School, and I'm excited to see what he has going on in the future. Live at Indio High School, Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
Brett, thank you, and congratulations to Principal Lawson on his retirement. Live look outside from our Agua Caliente casino camera in Rancho Mirage. Some warm days here in the valley, getting warmer as we head into the weekend. Chloe Carlson has the night off. Meteorologist Jerry Steffen is in tonight with our 3-day forecast for us. Jerry?
Well, we were close to normal over the past couple of afternoons, around 100 degrees Monday, Tuesday, yesterday, and earlier today. Plenty of sunshine earlier this afternoon with perimeter mountain clouds. Now, nothing in radar over Southern California. We're dry in that department. Temperatures overnight will be under clear skies, including 74 degrees this evening at Palm Springs, 75s at Thousand Palms, Indio, and Palm Desert, 54 at Banning, 64 degrees tonight, Joshua Tree. Now, tomorrow we add a few more degrees to our forecast, slightly above normal numbers. Plenty of sunshine, a few mountain clouds, but 100 to 104 on Friday afternoon. So hotter and drier for the Coachella Valley. Dew points slip a little more. We'll see mid-40s tomorrow with peak temps at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Tomorrow's highs include 102 in Palm Springs and La Quinta, 103 Rancho Mirage and Palm Desert. Cabazon 93 degrees, 90 degrees at Yucca Valley with sunshine. Tomorrow even hotter weather. Saturday 105 puts us about 5 degrees above normal in the valley. Plenty of sunshine to go around. Totally clear skies on Sunday. Even hotter weather 110. What about next week? We'll check it out. Full forecast and 7-day on the way.
Turning to some more local headlines this evening, a rollover crash in Desert Hot Springs sends a man to the hospital early yesterday morning. Happened just after 3 a.m. at the intersection of Mountain View Road and Dillon Road. You see the photos we've obtained of the crash scene right here. CHP says a white Nissan Rogue was heading south on Mountain View when the driver ran a red light, broadsided a red Nissan Altima coming through the intersection on Dillon. The impact flipped the Altima onto its roof. Fire crews had to cut the male driver out using the jaws of life. He suffered a head injury and was taken to Desert Regional for treatment. The woman driving the Rogue was not hurt, and officers say neither drugs or alcohol appear to be factors in this crash.
A historic water rights agreement has been reached here in the Coachella Valley between the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians and 2 local water agencies. Our Tiani Jadaling joins us live in studio tonight. She has more on this agreement's impact. Tiani?
Olivia, this lawsuit dates back to 2013 when the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians sued both the Coachella Valley Water District and the Desert Water Agency for use of their own federally reserved groundwater. Turns out pumps on tribal land are bringing water to many places here in the Coachella Valley. The water used to keep these golf courses green actually comes from groundwater that sits under the Agua Caliente Reservation, land that many of the Cahuilla Indians call home. Some of the largest water users, like country clubs and resorts, pay to get their water from the same source. The lawsuit argued that the tribe should not have to pay for water under its own land. Now all the parties have reached a settlement to manage the water together. What this means is that the tribe will be guaranteed 20,000 acre-feet of water a year. That's enough to supply 20,000 residents with water. Tribal Chairman Reed Milanovich left a statement breaking down what this means for the tribe. It reads in part, quote, "The agreement affirms the tribe's right to manage, regulate, and govern the use of the tribal water right in the Coachella Valley, and at the same time will provide a real benefit to the entire Coachella Valley." In a joint statement, they say the settlement will not negatively impact residents' ability to get water. Collectively, the parties announced this agreement should have a minimal financial impact on water users here in the Coachella Valley. The next step is approval from Congress. The settlement asks for $500 million in federal funding and an additional $15 million from the state. That money will be used for infrastructure projects throughout the valley. Here's what that money could be used for: water conservation projects like recycling or capturing stormwater. All this to make sure groundwater levels are maintained here in the Coachella Valley. Live in studio, I'm Tiani Jadaling, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, Tiani, thank you for that. The 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians supporting the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission with some much needed supplies. This week, they delivered a full pallet bottled water for the water bottle campaign. They've committed to providing a pallet every month throughout the summer. With rising temperatures, having plenty of water is crucial for helping the unhoused stay safe and hydrated. Their ongoing support is making a real difference in the community.
And new at 6 o'clock tonight, it's a turnaround many thought might never happen. Just 1 year after Riverside County animal shelters were under fire for high euthanasia rates and a lack of transparency, there's a new tone tonight and new leadership bringing real change.
NBC Palm Springs' Mary Strong takes us inside today's commission meeting where progress not just being talked about, she says it's being felt.
And so as far as I see everything going in a positive direction.
Today's Coachella Valley Animal Campus Commission meeting painted a dramatically different picture than just a year ago, when Riverside County shelters were in crisis, euthanizing thousands of animals and led by a director unwilling to admit there was a problem. Now, under the leadership of newly appointed Animal Services Director Mary Martin, the tone has shifted to one of transparency, collaboration, and commitment.
It's like night and day. It really, really is. The communications are opened. We're resources for each other and we can help each other.
Martin has been in her role for just over 4 months and is already implementing impactful changes. This past weekend, Riverside County extended the San Jacinto shelter's hours until midnight in a bold move to increase adoptions. Nearly 190 animals found homes, and the results were eye-opening.
Most people came out after our normal business hours. That was we really have to embrace that. It is our job to make animals available when people are available to see them.
Martin is now extending shelter hours to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Friday as part of the new Rivco Rise initiative, a rebranding effort centered around building a no-kill community. Supervisor Manuel Perez told the commission he's advocating for increased funding to support Martin's programming and staffing needs.
A little bit under $5 million, and it's for increasing staffing primarily. To help work towards the goals that the board has established to improve outcomes.
Those improvements are already taking shape. Shelter consultant Kristen Hassan, hired by the county earlier this year, shared new data showing a marked decrease in euthanasia rates.
Just 2 years ago, about 1,300 cats had been euthanized by this time of the year, and that number is down to less than 400. And 2 years ago, about 1,200 dogs have been euthanized. By the end of April, that number is down to less than 700.
While the county is not yet a no-kill system, the momentum has clearly shifted. With new leadership and a reinvigorated team, the progress is visible and inspiring hope.
I'm hopeful that this is the beginning of a sustained effort to improve the care of our animals in our community.
I'm Mary Strong for NBC Palm Springs.
Our thanks to Mary for that this evening. The county's effort to clear the shelters continues this weekend with off-site adoption events happening at PetSmart and Petco in Palm Desert and La Quinta. You can find the times and locations on your screen right there. Remember, all the adoption fees are waived until shelter populations reach safer levels. It's a perfect time to give a pet a second chance and bring home a new best friend. Coming up next to you here on this Thursday evening, Desert Hot Springs welcoming in a new city manager. Alondra Campos speaking with Doria Wilms and will tell us what the city can expect next.
And here's a live look from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Hot temperatures on the way for the weekend. Meteorologist Jerry Steffen's in right after the break to tell us more about our 7-day forecast.
But first tonight, we leave you with a look at your gold and silver prices. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 6 o'clock, and we're back right after this.
Let's take a live look outside from our Walter Clark Highway 111 camera. Blue skies out there. Nice view of the river in Rancho Mirage. And we'll check in with meteorologist Jerry Steffen to tell us more about the hot trend coming for the weekend and the next 7 days. Jerry?
Over the past couple of days, we saw highs around 100 degrees. Well, that changes beginning tomorrow as hotter weather moves into the valley. Overnight lows tonight, slightly above normal numbers. Totally clear skies. 74s and 75s for the valley. 61 the overnight low for Cabazon tonight. 72 at 29 Palms. Now, tomorrow we add a couple degrees to what we had over the past couple of days. 100 to 104, lots of sunshine, a few perimeter mountain clouds, but hotter and drier air begins to move into the valley, not only tomorrow, but the next few days. 102 Friday afternoon for Palm Springs, 103 at Palm Desert, 93 at Cabazon, 90 at Joshua Tree, adding a few more degrees on Saturday, all sunshine, and 105 at Indio, Thousand Palms, and Palm Springs, 106 at Palm Desert, 100 degrees even at 29 Palms. Now, winds, not really an issue. Wind-prone areas, strong breezes move through the area. That'll be late on Friday. They back off slightly on Saturday afternoon, and even drier air begins to move into the valley. We had slightly humid conditions over the past couple of days. Well, moving into the weekend, those relative humidity and dew point numbers begin to drop. In fact, by Sunday, we'll see single-digit relative humidity in the middle of the afternoon. Now, the jet stream stays well to the north of us, moving into this coming weekend. That'll allow those temps to really skyrocket. Matter of fact, a ridge of high pressure will boost those numbers between 107 and 111. Totally clear skies and much drier air moves into Southern California. Likewise on Monday, 110 for Palm Springs, Indio, and Rancho Mirage, 109 La Quinta, and Thermal, 108 at Desert Hot Springs. Comfort Air 7-day forecast, low 100s on Friday, lots of sunshine, a few mountain clouds, totally clear skies on Saturday. Palm Springs at 105 degrees. The 2 hottest days, Sunday and Monday, will be at 110 before the numbers slowly back off. 100 degrees under sunshine Thursday.
The NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
All right, welcome back. So the dream season continues, and we know all about that, of course, with the Rancho Mirage softball team. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights because that season is going to continue. Today, Rancho Mirage in Culver City, a rematch of the Southern Section Final. That's Giselle Espercueta with a 3-run homer. She knew it right off the bat, hits the little airplane out of the gate, and the team just pours out onto the field to give, at that point, Rancho Mirage a good 4-0 lead. And then the final out of the game, Annalisa Garcia on the mound going the distance, and they're going to go on to play for the state final on Saturday. Unbelievable. The first team in the history of the Coachella Valley to make it this far. So congratulations to the Rattlers. We'll have more details when the game will be played and the location on Saturday here in the coming days. Now, later this month, the action sports world will gather at the Palm Springs Surf Club for the first of its kind event. Raha Live Record Breakers and Never Been Done Surfing Invitational will celebrate motocross, surfing, BMX, and skateboarding with a chance at several record-breaking performances both on the land and in the water. Now, motocross rider Colby Raha, an 11-time X Game medalist, will bring his talents to the Surf Club along with some of his friends from all other action sports.
Yeah, so June 21st here at the Palm Springs Surf Club, I've got the opportunity to go for a world record that hasn't been broke in over 50 years. It's a 171 foot to flat landing, currently held by Bob Gill in 1973. No one's broke it, and I'm going for it. So I'm going to get up to speeds about 100 miles an hour, and I'm aiming for 180, but if I go a little further, I'm setting my sights on 200 to flat.
Well, one of the hosts of the event, legendary surfer Bruce Irons, pumped to be able to showcase such talent right here in our own backyard at the perfect venue.
To have a wave pool, you know, getting to surf in the desert, it's a cool thing. I really like, you know, the concept of these wave pools, and this wave pool's it's really good. It packs a lot of power, and it's meant to hold a good venue, and you know that June 21st is going to be a day you don't want to miss.
Surfer Nathan Fletcher will be on hand along with names like BMXer Andrew Topa, skateboarder Aaron Jaws Homoki, and Boo Johnson. They'll also showcase their talents in all different events. Again, as Bruce mentioned, you don't want to miss it. 6 p.m. on June 21st. Tickets are now available at the PalmSpringsSurfClub.com. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
This week, City of Desert Hot Springs appointed a new city manager. Doria Wilms has worked for the city for years, and she's lived in Desert Hot Springs for her whole life. In this new role, she's going to be leading the city and its residents into the future.
It's a big job, and we wanted to hear from Wilms about how she plans to lead. So we sent another Desert Hot Springs native, our Alondra Campos, to find out. She joins us live in studio tonight with more on what she learned. Alondra?
Mark and Olivia, there's no question that Doria Wilms has deep connections in Desert Hot Springs, having spent her whole life there. And those connections can be found all over town. So that's where I met with her, the places where she says she found her true calling. I learned that for Wilms, true leadership is knowing where you came from.
The city of Desert Hot Springs is about community. It's about pride. It's about loyalty.
In the heart of Desert Hot Springs, the Edward L. Wenslaw Education Center serves as a place where memories linger, where dreams were first imagined by a young girl who would one day leave the city.
Anybody that grew up here in the 80s, 90s knows this used to be an elementary school. So much of who I am, who I have become as a woman, a lot of those foundational roots were built here through the relationships that I made. I got to spend a lot of time with teachers that ended up being mentors.
From the classroom to City Hall, Wilms' journey is deeply rooted in the city she still calls home.
I look at this school and my heart just kind of beams with pride because there's just so many amazing memories here.
Doria Wilms, the new city manager for Desert Hot Springs, knows this city like the back of her hand. Not the headlines, not the stereotypes, but the people, the parks, the possibilities.
You know, the parades, all of the sports in the community, being at the park and having families come together, playing in the street with all the neighborhood kids, those were the core memories that really stay with me. And it's really where I learned so much about just being a good human.
Just a few blocks away at Wardman Park, the softball fields Wilms played at as a child and later coached her own children, and where she says leadership skills took root long before she held any title.
When you're playing the game, you're all in on the game and you can have some opinions, but at the end of the day, you have to listen to your coach. When I transitioned over to coaching my daughter's team, it really is about understanding your players, understanding their strengths, their weaknesses, and how you can pull the best out of them and empowering them to make decisions. And so a lot of those skills translate into my everyday at City Hall. I am very much a leader that seeks to empower staff.
Raised in Desert Hot Springs her entire life, Wilms has seen the city evolve and very well knows about the false narratives attached to her community.
It is probably one of the most frustrating things that I think we deal with, that our residents deal with. It's that, we had a very rough period of time 20 years ago, and unfortunately, that has been one of the slowest things to recover. Having that community pride, I think, is really going to translate. I think we need to have that a little bit more outwardly and push back a little bit on those narratives and say, no, that's not who we are. Let me show you who we are.
From the classroom to the council chambers and the dugouts in between, Wilms isn't just leading a city, she's carrying forward the spirit of the place that made her who she is.
If you would have asked me, young Doria, one day do you think you're going to be at the helm of the city here? I would have said, absolutely not. I mean, never in a million years did I think that this is where I would be sitting today. But hindsight is always 20/20, and I look back and I see how so many of the roads led me to where I'm at.
For Wilms, this new role is not just a job, it's a calling.
This is a passion. It's been a passion from day one. It is it's such a prestigious role. It's such an amazing role. But I thought about it and I thought, what do I have that the others before me didn't have? And it's passion, it's drive, and it's knowing what I don't know and knowing who my subject matter experts are that do know. My goal is to bridge that gap between government and the residents and create an environment where they feel comfortable to come here and get the answers and actually impact change, because they are the ones we serve.
A leader who never left, Doria Wilms says she hopes to change the narrative of Desert Hot Springs from the inside out. Live in studio, I'm Alondra Campos. We'll be right back.
Brighter Side of the News is brought Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Fiesta Kia. Discover the all-new Fiesta Kia located in the I-10 Auto Mall.
On his great accomplishment.
All right, before we go tonight, we've been celebrating graduations all across the Coachella Valley. So tonight we're celebrating a graduate of our own, our producer, Christian, who does our 6 o'clock newscast. He recently just received his master's degree from Laverne University in leadership and management, graduated over the weekend. So we got to celebrate him today, and we thank Christian. We know he'll put that degree to good use. He already does as a producer here at our station, and we always appreciate all of his hard work that he does.
It's a big milestone.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and to go to school and then take that break to go back.
While you're working full time?
Yeah.
Hard work would be an understatement, because we're producing the newscast here for the 11 o'clock, and he's studying hard back there late into the night. So well-deserved, and congratulations, Christian. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're back here tonight for the news at 11. Please join us for that. But for now, we'll send things over to Fred Rogan. He's got the latest tonight with the Rogan Report. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Mark. The Rogan Report is presented by The Living Desert.
Hey, do you dream of owning your first home? Maybe you're looking to sell your old home and get into a new one. Well, it's becoming more and more expensive to buy, and 3 cities in the Valley are being priced out by investors. Happy Thursday. Want to start by talking about someone who is underappreciated, because everyone in his line of work is underappreciated. That line of work is education. Teachers may have the greatest influence on our kids as they grow, yet teachers are underpaid and endure mental exhaustion on a daily basis. All are good, some are great. Derek Lawson is one of the great ones. After decades at Indio High School, Derek retired today, and he joins the show. Mr. Lawson, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, so this was your last day with students. What were you feeling?
Well, it was very bittersweet, because it was my final last day of school with students. And so I got there this morning about an hour and a half before everybody else, before custodians, groundskeepers, everyone, just so I could walk the campus one last time and kind of reflect on everything that's gone by. But it was emotional all day long. I had numerous visits from not only my own students and staff, but every time I turn around, I had visits from students and parents and staff from over the last 40 years. So it's been a very emotional day. All day long today was just one of those trying to keep it together.
All right. What changes in education have you seen in your role?
Over these past 4 decades, we've seen a huge shift. We've become, I want to say there's a huge focus on an individualization in education. In special education, there's something called an IEP, an individual education plan, and you craft that plan to meet the needs of an individual student throughout their day. And over time, what has shifted is we've left the old factory model from years ago, and we've come to a much more individualized model where trying to what we call differentiate your instruction. And a lot of the emphasis is on how do you craft what you're doing to meet individual needs. And so that's one of the pieces. A second dramatic change that's taken place, I think, is because of the rapid amount of information. We don't call this the space age anymore. This is the age of information. So with the change in technology and the rapid, easy access to information, we've also seen a shift. You know, a lot of parents will talk about, well, my kids had to memorize this, and they learned state capitals in 4th grade, and they memorized presidents in 5th grade. You can get that at your fingertips. What's more important is to be able to use information to think critically, not memorize rote information that you may or may not use very often.
Okay, and when it comes to AI, the future with AI and using it with education, you know, it's really funny hearing what you say. I think about the people that watch our show, and they would say, well, this is wrong. It's like I had to learn algebra. I had to learn all of these things. I was terrible at math. So I finally said to somebody, why don't they just use a calculator? It's not like they're not going to use a calculator, right? Because that's how kids today grew up. Why are we teaching people to do things the way we did 50 years ago when everything has changed? And Mr. Lawson, I don't think that our educational system is adapted to that yet.
Well, you'd be surprised. I challenge you to visit some of the classrooms, and you'll see a lot of it has. Some of the career technical pathways, the engineering classes, the math classes we have, you'd see a lot of that dramatic change. I remember being a student at my high school. You know, I started here at Indio High School as a student back in the 70s. And I was in the class that went from the old manual Royal typewriter. We had the first electric typewriters. And then after I graduated, they got the first computer, a Commodore 64. When I was a teacher, I had one of the very first Apple computers. I've seen that technology change. With AI, I want to encourage parents to really visit their schools, talk to their teachers, explore and investigate. You're going to find that what we're using with technology is not replacing deep learning, it's enhancing the ability for students to learn, because all of those technologies don't do the work for you. We want to use the latest technology to help us enhance what we do. Some of the things you take for granted every day have been invented because people use technology to enhance their learning, freed their brains up to do deeper, more critically thinking and invention.
All right, here's a problem now. I mean, I just listened to you, and I really have bad news for you.
Okay.
Given what you said and how you look at things, we cannot let you retire. We cannot let you go. Because education, you're the kind of person that they need in education today.
Well, thank you. I'm not really going anywhere.
I understand. But I mean, you shouldn't really retire. You should just keep reporting to work and imparting this wisdom on the students and the parents, because there's a reason you've had the success you've had. There's a reason for the outpouring of love for you, because you're truly the best. And we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it greatly, and I appreciate the coverage that the media has provided for my school and for my students over the years that I've been here. So thank you.
So when you buy real estate, it's location, location, location. Did you know there are 3 locations here in the Valley that are exploding with prices jumping far beyond their usual pace? 3 Valley cities made a top 18 list of places in California where investors are driving prices into the stratosphere. Number 14 on the list, Palm Desert. Number 5 on the list, Indian Wells. And investors are going crazy for Rancho Mirage, which takes the number 2 spot on the list. This points to intense investor interest, the kind of thing that pushes local buyers to the sidelines. Our contributors tonight, our buddies Jim Walker and Brad Ward. Jim, have you noticed this investor trend?
Yeah, this trend has been going on for a while. I think it started during COVID. I remember I had a friend in 2021 who was looking for a house. And in 2 cases, when we were at one of the open houses for the homes for sale, there was a bidder on the phone who bought the house without even seeing it. And I think that's continuing. And we know that as evidenced by the number of Airbnbs in the Valley, and certainly the number of cities that are limiting the number of Airbnbs. There are a lot of investors that are swapping up or grabbing up the properties here.
Brad, is this a good thing?
You know, it depends on whether you're trying to buy or trying to sell. If you're selling, it's probably a good thing because you can make a lot more money. But if you're trying to buy, it feels awfully daunting.
And if that's the case, Brad, can anything be done about making homes more accessible to local buyers?
You know, what I appreciate about the free market housing economy is the lack of intrusion of local government laws and regulations. On the other hand, what I appreciate about the the local government laws and regulations is the potential to keep house prices low for everyday people. I don't know the answer, but at this rate, it's going to be hard to find an affordable property in the Coachella Valley.
Jim, do you have the
Brad,
answer?
I think there is one possibility that some local governments could get involved. There's always the chance that, you could offer tax incentives to people who buy a home and choose to actually live in it. I mean, that's one way that we could inspire more people to actually live in the homes that they're buying.
All right. Wherever you live and whatever you do, always try and be a good neighbor. Steve Baum Desert, he needs some help. He's looking for somebody to help him with a business logo and business cards. Peggy in Thousand Palms wants to give a shout out to Piero's Pizza Vino on El Paseo. She says they have a wonderful menu and great food and great service. I agree. New Rancho Mirage resident Ed is looking for a full-time warehouse job. Can anyone point him in the right direction? And Celeste in Indio looking for a studio or a one-bedroom apartment.
Some things work, some things don't. How do we know what's what unless you tell us? Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Rogan. You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
No jail time, no matter the offense? So last night, we talked about Judge Lana Kim. She is a Superior Court judge in Los Angeles. People have taken notice of her because she is sending violent offenders to a diversion program instead of jail. Some believe she's abusing her power and not looking out for the victims of these crimes. Our legal expert, Walter Clark, joins us. All right, Walter, you know our agenda here. How could this happen? A violent criminal is let out and seriously hurts someone. Now, how does that happen?
There is an explanation, but obviously everybody is shocked and angered by this, and it's a very unfortunate situation. But to get the context, you have to understand this was a case where someone was put into a diversion program. Diversion is a system by which one of three groups, either a veteran or a drug-addicted person or somebody who's mentally ill, is offered the opportunity to avoid prosecution and jailing if they can get screened and go into a program, get treatment, successfully complete the treatment. And if they do that, then they don't have to go through the criminal justice system and go to jail. So that's basically what it is. I think it works pretty well in many cases. Historically, we had a different opportunity. Instead of having the institution we call prison, we also had institutions called psychiatric hospitals. So we used to have a place to put people who were mentally ill and dangerous. Now, 1967 through 1975, about, Governor Reagan was anxious to reduce the healthcare costs in California, and he started closing psychiatric hospitals. When he became president in 1981, he was able to get the Mental Health Services Act repealed. So we lost one of two ways to institutionalize people who are mentally ill and therefore dangerous and really need to be incarcerated and treated, or incarcerated forever, I guess. The reason we are not enthused about putting everybody in prison, besides the fact that, you know, it's not really practical, it costs us $135,000 a year to put one person in prison. So we need to do something to force people to take their medications, because mentally ill people typically don't want to take medications and they have to be forced to do it. It's very much a complex problem, not unlike the homeless problem that we're dealing with. It's got a lot of aspects to it, and you know, this was a case that really went bad.
All right, what about the judge? Can a judge just decide never to put someone in jail?
One judge should not if they want to be reelected, of course. But in every case, the DA has the option of challenging the judge and kicking the judge off the bench, so to speak, in that one case. So they can do that. They can challenge the judge, or they can appeal the sentence based on it being an abuse of discretion.
Walter, appreciate the insight as always.
Thank you so much, Fred. Good seeing you.
So when somebody smiles at you, do you believe it? Are they genuinely smiling, or are they forcing a smile? Do you know the difference? Did you know if someone smiles without really meaning it, people around can feel it no matter how hard they try? If the emotion is not behind the smile, people in front of you feel it. Even babies can tell if you're faking it. It's instinctual, and it's helped us decide who is trustworthy and who may not be. Fake smiles aren't necessarily bad, but you feel it when you see it, and then you need to find out why it happened. Okay. So I know that Jim used to work in local news, Brad. So I'm going to do something, Jim, okay? And you tell me if this is a real or a fake smile, because you would know this better than anybody. So when you do promotion for local news, there's this standard generic shot.
IDs, you're talking about IDs.
All right, the IDs. And you always go like this. You start to decide and you go. Right?
Exactly. And you have to hold that fake smile for like 45 seconds. And you hear the people off to the side of the set, hold it. And you're trying. And the longer you're holding that smile, the worse it gets. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely. And then your lip starts to quiver like.
Yeah,
right.
And then it looks like you're having a seizure.
I know. I mean, how many of those have we done over the years? And it's always with the arms folded, right? It's like this.
Exactly. Yeah, I can spot a fake smile from a mile away and a fake person. But we all know when you're in front of the camera, you know, and we've spent a lot of time in front of the camera, you find ways of doing it, you know, and the trick seems to be, you know, you make yourself laugh. You think of a genuinely funny moment, and that brings up a genuine smile. But when someone's faking it in a social situation, I can spot it in a heartbeat.
Brad, can you spot it?
Absolutely. I look in the eyes, but I also look for tension on someone's face. But another complicating factor is Botox. If someone's had too much of it, I really have difficulty interpreting their expressions.
Well, that's because their face doesn't move. That's why you can't interpret. It's like, I'm really happy. It's good to see you.
I'm happy, but you can't tell.
Right, because you've had too much. And the key is only get Restylane. And if you get Restylane, don't put it right here. Otherwise, you go like this and you look like Vincent Price. I'm not talking from experience. I'm not saying I know. But it's just kind of an inside TV tip. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. What was the weather report like before the incredible invention that is super weather? We may never, ever know. Whose idea was that? That was brilliant. Alex, it was your idea? Alex, well done. That was brilliant. Old and young alike are picking up pickleball.
Riddle me this. What can travel around the world while staying in a corner?
So Amaya D'Souza is terrific, junior at Palm Desert High School, but after tonight she'll be a senior. We invite her once a week to come in and talk about things that happen around the community. Well, Amaya, congratulations. You have survived your junior year of school. How do you feel?
I can't believe it. It has been a year, that's for sure. I've grown in many ways that I wasn't exactly prepared to, and I've experienced change in many different aspects of my life. And it's kind of surreal to be sitting here and realizing that I never have to go through my junior year ever again.
Yeah.
And then I'm officially a senior.
And what does that mean?
I will be graduating next year, so that's exciting.
All right, so now school is out, and you always talk about what's going on in the community. So now, what do kids do?
That's a question that a lot of kids face. They don't really know what the answer is, especially as school ends. It's too hot to go outside. It's boring to stay inside and play video games all day. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is not only is physical activity such a good outlet to really getting out of that funk, but there's a large community, specifically in pickleball here in Palm Desert, that is ready to welcome you with open arms. And I think it's really interesting because I have personally never played sports that involve hand-eye coordination, and I was kind of welcomed into the community about a year and a half ago by an elderly pickleball group, and they taught me how to play, and since then I've been playing with my friends. And I think a lot of people don't realize is that not only is it open to anyone, all ages, children all the way up to when you're over 65, but there's so many opportunities within it that a lot of teenagers can go and access.
Okay, so you know the perception, right? Pickleball's for older people. Okay, so did you feel weird when you started playing as young as you were?
I feel like, for me specifically, I'm very comfortable with adults, so I might have a bit of a skewed perspective because I just am like, oh, they're just like normal people to me and they just kind of welcomed me in. But I do understand if some people might seem a little afraid or timid around them, but I feel like we kind of have to change that narrative because they are so welcoming. And a lot of these people want to communicate with younger audiences because they feel disconnected through them. And I've seen that through pickleball. I've played with a wide range of people of different ages, and it's really interesting because I've gotten advice from them. I've met new people, and it's really interesting.
Okay, so where do you play pickleball? Where should people go?
The Palm Desert Civic Center, so just right over on Monterey. It's obviously everyone knows Civic Center, and they just recently reconstructed half of their tennis courts into pickleball courts. So there's more than enough there, but I will say they do get packed, but you are able to find one. You might just have to fight someone, so.
All right. Well, listen, if there's a fight, I know you're going to win. I know you'll win the court, Amaya. Congratulations on graduating your junior year, and thank you, as always, for being here.
Thank you.
Then when we return, the AHC alarming video of the week.